Shut.
And so it begins.
Now, are we live? That's
Yeah.
okay. No, it tells me that I can't see chats.
It will do.
Okay, yeah.
Will it? Maybe.
Perhaps we will up
Oh,
here.
no. No, this is no internet.
Oh, is it this particular computer? So oh, I see. There's
Let's
always
do
a
a
refreshing, isn't it?
See if that works.
Yeah,
Ta-da.
I guess so. I always forget about the refreshing button. You leave this on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I tell you what. I don't know if I'm going to get used to doing this in the middle of the afternoon. But
Well, you may just have to.
yes.
Just like I have to get used to this late at night. Oh, on comes the gloves.
Yes. Well, we talked last week about the nature of black as a colour, and today I have a black canvas. It's going to make a dramatic change to how I approach. Let's get some stuff on it. That'll get covered up. It'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to approach this very differently. Normally I have a mid-tone canvas, and I can work on it with some thinned, sort of dark, transparent paint, and just get a sketch on, get some shapes. But with this, I've got something very different going on. That's going to be, it's going to require a different approach, certainly for drawing at the outset. So yeah, I have a lovely Halloween story going on here, which should be fun. Approach this very differently. Okay, hang on. I'm going to have to switch the sound off. Okay. That'll do it. There you are. I was talking to myself all evening. Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to be ready for this starting at 7. They'll be along at 7:30 going, oh no, I missed the beginning.
Well.
Right. So where am I with this? Yeah. So I've got my little Halloween scene here. I've got real candles. And I've got this black tissue paper background, and I've got a pumpkin and a red light and my sheep skull, which I found on a
Hi,
hillside
Steve.
in the Lake District. Who's there? Who's here?
Steve Day.
Oh,
Hi, Steve.
Good stuff. So starting this, I think I'm actually going to start with, because I can't do anything about massing some areas of tone and establishing that stuff. That'll have to come later. So I'm going to start with a small brush and a sort of a mid-tone grey, and get some of the light areas in, which is going to be rather more interesting. So I'm going to start. When I say small brush, I mean number 8 or something. Give that a go. Let's see how this plays out. So I've still got some mid-tone greys left over from last week. But what's happening here is I'm putting white paint on right from the off. And that means that you're kind of applying more paint than you'd be doing if you were using something thinner. I'm going to want my sort of visualising this. There's my, don't mind if the pumpkin goes off, but that might work out. So I've got some areas of light here, some sort of skull thing going on here. What about the candles? No, it's going to be a candle here. If anyone says, oh, I like it like that, you should leave it. Go away. I don't want to hear it.
Even if it's me?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, maybe not you. You're required. Okay. Where's that going? I'm going to move it all up a bit. So I can work in a similar way because it's quite thin paint. This should be quite a heavily sized canvas, yeah, so you can wipe it back pretty easily. So none of this is permanent or sticking. If I start from the top here, that's going to be the edge of my pumpkin right there. That's going to be the area of light, which is going to put the candle here, move everything up pretty much that distance. Work out what I'm replacing it with. It's going to be its horn. It's going to lose too much of that red off the side. I like that red. Now I'm going to move everything over a little bit. So actually that candle's going to get off the edge. And these other candles will go in here. Maybe another candle here, something like that. Yeah. Okay, now I've got this sort of cloudy grey sort of turning up. Where's that going to go? Still drawing that in the old place. That's the red on the back of the skulls and those shapes. Something like this. I can go back in with the thinners, and I can restore some of the darks by going back to that ground I'm starting with. I'm getting confused now. So I'll do a bit of that now. Let's get rid of some of that. Okay, yeah, I'm starting to see it now. That's going to come across. Oh, I'm using the wrong brush. It's the opposite. Right. Okay, am I happy with where everything's turning up? Yeah, there we are. So very, very vague about where everything's going, but kind of works. That's the bottom of my pumpkin there. That's going to be right off the side of it. Actually, we'll get the whole pumpkin in that way. Okay, so there's my scene. I've got this lovely red coming in from that side. I've got some nice bits of light travelling down here. Got some sparkles. It's not going to really come out on the camera, but some lovely sort of sparkly shapes from the candle flames themselves. Maybe that pumpkin will get a bit bigger. I don't know. Do a bit of measuring, a bit of sighting. one side. Right, I've got this nice dynamic angle there. That's quite fun. And I've got some of these shapes. I'll stick a bit of red in there already. There we go. Well done. Okay, so I've got some of these lovely red shapes.
Okay, so what are you starting with? Red.
Well, I've got these. So I've got these different factors. I've got this sort of orange from the candles, which harmonises with the pumpkin on this side. I've got this red from this red light, which is especially highlighted on the, the back of the sheep skull, but it's also turning up. It's giving us a different sort of, so a red flavour of black in the foreground here. It's very subtle. And so between those two, those are the only two colours. And then what's left behind is actually there's quite a greeny colour for the skull itself. And then I can work back in with mixed black to create an extra dense dark at the end. I think they should do it like a TT races round Cherbourg. That's like, it's pretty dangerous, isn't it? I mean, they'd probably join in and they'd probably come off worse out of it. Then on a Monday, it's just weird.
Honestly, it's more annoying than anything else.
Oh, well, it's only annoying.
It's
So
only
everything
annoying.
is. Yeah.
I mean, Steve, you live in Chitri too. Doesn't it annoy you, this man with a motorbike?
The neighbourhood watch militias growing from the internet.
Steve
It
once
starts
told me...
like this, and then before you know it, there's an angry mob out there with stingers.
Yeah, but Steve told me he found everything in Chitri interesting, which is...
Yeah.
I can't hear it from here. Well, lucky you.
Okay, let's put some of this dark back. You can see it sort of refining the drawing a little bit. There we go. Well, I'm not going to fiddle around with this too much more. I suppose I've got into habits about the speed at which I do this kind of painting, and so I pace myself accordingly. And actually, I've been instructed to be quicker now. Well, apparently that it was taking too long. So I've got to change up my process a bit. We just charge through it really, which I don't think is a bad idea. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. But yes, it's fiddling with the drawing and stuff. It's kind of an afterthought.
I think it's about keeping each part of the process at the right amount that it stays interesting. For example, when you start, if you worked in half an hour, you were still doing this.
Yeah.
At the beginning with white lines, would probably be like, come on then. But, just...
I think the main reason is that you want to be in your pyjamas by 9, right?
Well, I wouldn't mind that, but,
It's okay, I sympathise entirely. Right.
No, it's not that.
That's all
It's
fake.
it's only for purposes of making it interesting also for the
Yes.
people watching
So
it.
A shorter version would probably be a real help. So I'm going to have a few things to do. One, red light, really interesting, because it's not the light that's going to look red, because this red,
Yeah.
and I started talking about this last week with the tomatoes, this red has quite a dark tonal value. The actual colour I want to make is much, much lighter. And And so there's going to be this interesting thing happen. As I lighten
Thank you, Steve.
As I lighten it, I'm going to add a bit of yellow to it, warm it up. And that's kind of the brightest thing I can make at the right tone. There we go. It's going to look like that light there.
No, Steve, I'm not sure that would be a good idea.
Is he stealing my thunder?
A little bit.
Okay.
No.
Sorry.
Only for me that I can see it. Okay, oh wait, I can see what is right. I guess.
No, do share. I'd love to know.
He said, nothing wrong with being in one's pajamas, James.
No.
And then he says, in fact, you should both be in your pajamas. Oh dear.
Okay, so building some of these colour relationships here. The red is a lot more orange, which means the orange is going to have to be a lot more yellow. So there's a couple of those. What's going to be interesting is the colours in between. So then, on the other side, I've got this yellow. I'll pop a little bit of white in it, just to give it some opacity. It's a cadmium yellow. A little bit of yellow. Yellow ochre. I'm going to have to pop a bit of it now. Okay, so if I can get the bright colours in, then actually let's get that clean. And the last thing I'll do, I miss my nice palette knife. I'm going to have to order a new one, but in the meantime, it's very sad. They take a while to break in. Okay. So who's along?
Along for now, as far as I can see, only Steve.
What have you had a look
Oh
at the
no,
other
there are like two
channels?
people following. So one is Steve and one is someone else who's not contributing to messages.
That's all right. We've started. That's the important thing.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay. Now I've got these. Now the other thing I've got is I've got these
Maybe
candle
me, but-
flames. And these candle flames have got to be brighter than everything else. So all of these colours have got to get toned down one. So I think what I'm going to do is this sort of bluey greeny colour. So I'll mix up a bit of that. And it's quite muted.
Sorry, where do you see bluey greeny colour?
Okay, well, okay, now this is interesting. It's
Yeah.
hard to describe, but it's in the shadows of the. So if you look at the light that's falling, you can't see it on the camera, but there's light that's falling on the that isn't in
On the
direct
left of the
light.
pumpkin.
And you can see it a bit here. You see this?
Oh
this
yeah, yeah.
colour here?
It's the black. Yeah, okay.
So
yeah.
that's this background colour. I'm going to put a bit of
Okay.
umber into it. And that's making a kind of a bluey green black.
Hi, Loopy. I don't know.
And I'm going to use that to darken some of these other colours. I wonder what it will do to them. It's going to be fascinating. I'll take half of each. That can be too much. No, I think that might be about right. Same thing, yeah.
Are you mixing colours? So I'm just gonna see if I can go on the
Oh, yeah, it's
palette.
palette.
Palette. I don't know why I keep calling it palette. No, whatever. Slightly French.
That's also too green, isn't it? But I think that's not a bad starting point. I can add orange to that.
Do you know someone called Loopy?
Loopy? No, not sure I do. But is that through Twitch?
To the Twitch.
Oh yes, Loopy.
How are you doing?
Yeah, nice to see you again. Yes, so Loopy followed me when I was doing the live streams before years ago.
Okay, yeah.
This took her by surprise, I think, I was doing it again. But yeah, so there's a palette developing, and hopefully you can see some relationship between the colours in here and the colours that are turning up on here.
Yes.
But there's this extra brightness which I need to save for the candle flames. So I'm going to put a bit of alizarin into this greeny colour, which will make it a bit more purple. And let's see if we can make some different flavours from that. I can still see my original colour. I'll put this the other side. Yeah, gritty yellow ochre. Still looking green, isn't it? Yeah, more red in here. Maybe with the red-sided one. See how that's doing. Yeah, all these experiments, but they started with this orange. If I can get the right colours and the right quantities, then the painting of it should be pretty quick. Let's go again. I'm not going to use that directly. The palette knife doesn't clean off the glass properly. It's ineffective. That's slowing me down more than anything, really. Oh, it's just crap. I hate it.
What happened?
Making me cross. I broke my palette knife last week.
No, I know that. I think we know that. But what's happening now?
What's happening now is none of the other palette knives are doing the job that the old palette knife did.
They said your audio is quiet. It's too quiet.
Okay. Do you know how to fix that?
No. Do I have to turn one of
Hang on.
these? Which one is it?
My audio.
Yeah, James's audio is even quieter this week.
Oh, it's because it's unplugged. Of course it is. There's me trying to repair everything as we go along. Excuse me a second.
Unplug. Well,
It's here. This goes into
where do you want me to plug it?
number one at the top over here.
Oh well, that explains it.
Am I nice and loud now?
Waiting for an answer.
I should be. It's got to be a technical issue, isn't it? It has to be. It's the rules. Right. I'm going to mix a whole load of this orange. It's a bit different to before.
Can you hear James? That's really humming loudly.
Oh, of course it is.
Now it's better. What do you
Hang
mean
on.
like humming loudly?
Sorry about this.
Loud but very buzzy.
Nothing works properly. That's the answer. Okay. It's amazing. I change nothing from one week to the next, and it works completely differently. You have to excuse me a second, Michaela. I'm gonna
That's
try
all
and
right,
sort
yeah.
this out. This has got no reason to be buzzing.
Is that what you had last week, which worked really well?
Okay, yeah. This week it wants to make a buzzing noise, so that's what's happening there. Maybe it's because it's going past a parallel or something. It's got no excuse to be doing that. Excuse me, everybody. This is all part of the fun, isn't it? Mad. Just mad. No, still doing it. Find another microphone, shall I? We'll find out now.
Okay, you have to talk for them to know.
Yeah, no, we have to not talk. Yeah, okay, that seems to be better. Phew, thanks everybody for your patience.
Is it better?
I'm sure we'll find out. I have one other option,
Okay.
should it not be better. Okay, where was I? Oh yeah. I'm mixing this orange. A little bit of red in it. A little bit of brown. A bit more red.
Much better.
Good.
Mandy. Hi, Mandy.
Okay, now if I get some of this orange, I'm running out of mixing space here, but you know, I'm going to go over here. Put a bit of this in it. Should do a job. And go a bit further here. How's that going to look next to the black? Quite orange enough.
Are you preparing every single colour that you need? Pretty
No,
much.
I'm
right?
getting the relationships between them. So this is going to be the pretty much the background for my this colour here, which I'm prodding now, is going to be the orange of the top of the
I
the
see.
pumpkin, which is going to be slightly odd looking. I've got to do a similar thing with.
This is a bit odd looking, isn't it? It's like brown.
Now the red is staying light because that's only existing because of light. It's not existing outside of that. And I've got this slightly greenish colour which could be useful. I'll pop that in places. So that's my sort of foil for the ready one. And yeah, actually this is going to work better for there's just no paint there, that's just a big nothing. Forget that. I'm going to start with my shadow colour over here. Pop a little bit of white in it. And then that's going to get greener, for which I'll use a bit of this orange.
Wires here.
There we go. How's that going to go against the black? Pretty well, actually. So that's a couple of colours for the skull. I'll do one slightly lighter one. And no part of the skull gets even remotely as bright as this, so That still needs to be a bit darker, and again a bit yellower.
Mm.
That'll give it this greenish quality. And then the most bizarre thing is going to be what? Yeah, so these colours are also going to find their way into the blacks and the yeah, the sort of the reflections on the tissue paper at the front. Some of the bits around the candles.
Mm.
That's about the lightest it can possibly get. If I compare the two, I'll take that, jump to the back.
What are you doing with your hand there? So
I'm isolating different individual
Ah,
bits
like
that I
the
can
colour.
see. There's hardly any paint here. I don't know what's happening. I feel like I'm mixing loads and then it's going nowhere. I'm going to mix a whole chunk of this now. Right, loads of that. The whole of the rest of this green, all of that blue can go into it. That's more of my green one. There you are. And then let's take some of this and chuck a load of red into it. Make a load more of the red one. Is that red enough yet? Do a couple of little journeys into the red. Get that. There we go. Okay, I think I should have enough to sort of start here.
Hmm.
Okay, start with a big brush. Sort of some thinners on that brush, that's okay. There we go.
Are you starting to paint now?
Yeah, I'm going to go straight in with my brown. And that's going to be this sort of, not entirely sure of the, and it's very flat, very thin layer. But it's a surface I can work into. And that's going to, come in here.
You're right there in the middle of the scene.
Yes.
Um,
To appreciate its importance.
mm.
Okay, now this might look quite light and quite orange in that context, but actually when you put the actual light orange on it, you can see how much brighter that goes.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like red enough though.
No, it's not red enough.
Oh, right, okay.
No, thanks for pointing that out. Yeah, but this is the thing. It looks fine on the palette, and then you go to put it on, but there isn't enough of a context. That's a bit more orange
Right,
there.
okay.
Okay. I've got a bit of that going. A little bit of extra here. Before I get too carried away with that, I'm going to go into the red. I'm not going to clean the brush because I want it to just sort of sit up. So that's going to go here. There's going to be some darks that are going to go on, but I can actually sort of fine tune some of the drawing with this. Okay. Now this is quite unconventional lighting, so the other thing I'm going to have to think about is making sure it sort of describes the scene appropriately. But first things first, I don't want to be too fussy about it. That gives me some idea of what's going on. What's next? While I've got this red on, I can look at a few related shapes, which is, there's going to be one over here somewhere. There's going to be one down here somewhere. That's sort of reinforcing my pre-existing drawing. And this can just sort of sit underneath, it's not the final thing. Next, I guess I would go into some of this slightly greener version over here. And there's the, a bit of red from the brush, that's okay, that's carrying it across. So there's a few sort of,
Oh, I see. It makes more sense when you come behind you.
Drop a few bits in here. Yeah, maybe that's higher up.
Do you have only one YouTube channel? I was looking for the teddy bear video.
Oh, yeah, that's on there.
Yeah, it should be on there. Barbara. Do you know Barbara? Ballpark. I'm not sure Ballpark is a real surname. Is it? Is it?
I'm not sure we've.
Anyway, Barbara.
I'm not sure we've communicated before, but if we have, sorry, Barbara.
Anyway.
And if we haven't, welcome, Barbara.
I'm surprised that the other friend of yours, the one that writes his surname backwards. What's he called?
Oh, Tom.
Yeah, he's not there. Well.
Okay. I'm starting to see some stuff.
So are all the videos recorded and on your YouTube channel?
Yeah, they should all be there.
So all of them. So we got the Greek jar, the teddy bear, the flower.
Mm-hmm.
What else? We got the red painting last week with the tomatoes. And I say this is the fourth time, isn't it? Am I missing something?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, now tonally this is very tricky to sort of hang on to what's going on at the moment. Right, but a lot of it's going to be what's happening with the blacks
Yes.
and these different now this black tissue paper is reflecting different coloured lights around different places.
Yeah.
So that's going to be instrumental in describing the scene.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get this darker grey here. And I've got a shape there I can chuck in. Oh, that's not mixed properly. And here. In fact, I can kind of, because I can see it, I can do the whole skull with this and then lighten up later on. That's bluer at the top. This sort of this greeny colour turns up in the middle. Okay, I'm going to go for a bluer version now. On the top, which is here. So there's actually quite a lot of colour coming out of this now, which is quite exciting, I think.
Yeah.
Is that too
Many more
blue?
colours than you think, isn't it? Or
Yeah.
you would think, just.
Absolutely. What's this under there? A bit more under here, I guess.
Is it, can I ask, is it a real skull?
It is.
Of what?
Found it of a sheep.
Oh, sheep.
I found it on a hillside in the Lake District. The whole skeleton was there, but my friends wouldn't wait for me to collect the whole thing, so I
Well.
just had to make do with this. They didn't seem to think it was as important as I did, but yes. So sheep died of natural causes, and has since contributed to a great deal of art, which I'm sure it probably wasn't part of its life plan. I imagine its life plan mostly involved eating grass and getting on with the other sheep. A bit of lining up with that. It's actually going to come across a bit. Okay, going to be pretty vague about that. About here, a little bit there. I've got to be super vague about these bits. What's going on there? So there's a reflection here in the middle. So this green, where else does this green turn up? Weirdly, there's some bits here, but actually no, they're bluer, they're more purple. Bit of reflection. Yeah, it's kind of tricky, but the image is showing up already.
Yes,
and it's
it is.
already
Yeah.
got a bit of a weird, spooky glowiness to it. And I've got some context on the palette. And out of that, I should be able to build a nice kind of, what do you call it?
Are we going to have a break?
Yes,
10 minutes?
sure.
Okay.
What, 10 minutes from now?
Yeah.
Right, okay. So what else have I got? I've got this bit of red left over from last week. I'm going to make a nice dark red, put a bit of this pink in it. A bit of this. So get onto some brush mixes now. I can put in some of that in here. That's going to warm that up. There'll be some of that in here. Allow me to soften this a bit more now. Maybe put a bit in there. Not too much, just a little bit. What else is warmer? No, not that. There's a bit coming out here. Now, this is also going to be quite good for some of the shadows on the pumpkin. So if I find that edge, it's got an angle there. What's this doing? Oh, there we go. Sort of warm shadow there. What else is going on? I don't want to fuss with this too much. I'm using quite a rough brush here as well, so I'm not getting like a super hard edge on it, which is probably a good thing. Extra shadow under there. else is going to be important? Go to the top. What else? It's probably too steep, that. Hmm. There's sort of a few marks on it, but the lines have disappeared. Okay, if I go back to that orange again, I put a bit more red in it. There we are. That needs to be darker.
On the screen it looks much more orange. Oh, you see, look, that nearly like really bright red. I guess it's just the.
Okay, yeah, well, I mean, this is a white light over
Yeah.
the top of the.
Okay.
We're going to be able to make this perfect. But we'll do a bit of zooming in afterwards.
Yeah, no, it will always be different when you move the canvas.
Yeah, and also there is this whole extra level of redness that's going to go in here.
Okay.
So there's some of that going on. Yeah, soften that down a bit. So yeah, there's a few little sort of fun battles to be had with these colours coming up, but it's more about the gradual brightening. What looks very dull right now is going to make a lot more sense in a little bit. If I jump ahead, I can jump ahead because it's good to get a context in it somewhere. So I've got this here. That does need to be a bit redder. I start to put that in. Defining those lines and edges. So I'm going on in here, and then it sort of breaks up a bit. I'm going to make the right kind of marks as it breaks up at the top. That's going to require some thicker paint, but you get the idea. That can work in. Okay, then into that goes something even brighter, which is still nowhere near as bright as the candle flame's going to be, but it's got that little bit more on here. Something like that, anyway. The other side, you have to get the alizarin going on it. Once that starts working.
Okay.
That'll work all the way to the dark across there. I've still yet to what's that doing? Nothing. Okay, some kind of thing on here. There will be some bright lights to go on top of here, but in the meantime, this will do it. Is that a good time for a little break?
Yeah, just
It
about.
probably is. It's going to be too bright there, isn't it? Yeah. So yeah, I've got a time lapse of the first live stream back, which was the Sweet Enough, which is the pot of coffee and the what was it? Yes, the cafetiere and the I'll put these in and clean them up, start over. The cafetiere and the
Flour. Oh,
yeah,
sugar.
no, bag of sugar,
Oh,
yes, which is why it's called Sweet Enough. So enjoy that, and it'll be about 3 minutes. We'll be into. Where are we? So that's the bottom one here. See you in a sec. Well, the kettle hasn't even boiled, so I'm going to put that on again, and then we'll be back. Hey, back again. Sorry about the dead air. Right. So should we do a little foam can?
Like what? Okay. How? Oh, I see. You go around it with.
Okay.
Wait. Phone cam.
Yep.
Okay,
There
here.
we go. So there's my palette.
It's got a different look though, you see, when you go close up like that. They look really shiny.
So there's my very transparent black, and then the opaque ones that are being made from it. There's my subject matter.
Yeah. Yeah, it does look different when you go with your phone. Look at that.
Hopefully you can start to see the flame separate from what's around it. That's more like what I can see. And then there's the painting itself. See a bit more of that relationship, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting how that happens. So, hang on.
Finished?
Back to the main one. So I need to mix more paint and thicker.
Need to mix more paint.
Mm. I think I'm going to need more of this red to contribute to things.
Yeah. It looks like you need more red, but then perhaps it's just what we see.
But it's to go into these other colours. There's also need a whole load of this yellow light. And everything else I mix is going to be a darker version of that. So yeah, I think I might be doing a lot of the rest of this picture with brush mixes,
What do you mean?
in that I'll be mixing one little bit of colour at a time with the brush and then applying it and then doing the next mix.
Why's that?
Because there's so many tiny graduations and the starting colours they're quite hard to pin down, and to be able to balance them up involves switching between one colour and another with a certain amount of frequency. So for example, if I go back to my little skull over here and I apply some of this light here, well that's too light, but it can go in there. That can work, and it can also go over its sort of brow here. It can go along the top of the horn here. Some of it's going to mix in on the surface. Yes, there's a bit of a highlight down here, and then when I get to here, there's a bit of that bluish colour, and then it gets a lot yellower. So I'm going to need a bit of that orange off there, and I'll do a little submix next to this. And let's see how that looks.
Isn't that skull a little bit too blue? I love too blue.
Well, there's more to do to it. So
No. But I would have thought how can I say? I would start with the main colour and then do the little colour. You seem to be doing the opposite. Is that right? No. Is that a stupid question? You know what I mean? Like, I know you see blue there, but it's not all blue.
Well, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get the effect of light coming through it.
Okay.
And the blue is what's left behind after the yellow and orangey light comes through. So this here is the light shining through the actual bones of the skull. But it's not a lot lighter, it's mostly just a change in colour. Maybe there's bits of highlights on it. Like here. And I need some of that orange again. So I'm sacrificing some of that orange to mix this new sort of greeny colour. and then some of that won't be absolutely perfect, so then I'll have to go back again. Yeah, so that I did. Alright, okay, and some of this here, and then that's going to come out here as well, and there'll be this edge on this, which will make sense later. Where else? A bit under here. No, that's too much. Okay, now I'm in this sort of middling bit. I need a bit of that oranginess, but a bit of the red as well, just to soften it down. And that's going to go on around here. That's still too green. No, that should be bluish. So there's going to be some darker shadows going on in here and a few highlights too. But mostly I'm trying to get the sort of the language of what this skull looks like. Some bits of this are getting too light. There's a light bit there. That's about all I'm going to let it get away with. That's yellower. Okay, so now I'm going back to the black and putting a bit more red in that.
Sorry.
Yeah, and then it's going to start giving me some of these darks around here. Maybe not dark enough. What's that doing? No, it's too red. A bit more blue, a bit darker. There you are. And now it's mixing on the surface. I can sort of start to put in some of these sort of stronger shapes. More solid colour for the shadows in here, which are also going to come out the gaps. Okay. Now while I've got these colours on, I can have a little look around at blue up. Yeah, so some of these sort of candle casings and what have you. Quite a bit going on around here and there. Once we put the very darks on afterwards, it will make a bit more sense. But in the meantime, this should do a job. Yeah, it's going to be quite hard to make much sense of this until those lights go on.
What lights?
The
Do you mean the
bright
candle
lights.
lights?
So the highlights, the reflections, the candle flames themselves, the reflections and the bright highlights where it catches.
What about the black?
Well, this is the thing. The black will go in last. So just as I
Really?
normally, yeah.
Oh.
So in this instance, instead of putting the, you're right, I am doing it backwards. Instead of doing the bright colours and the highlights last, I'm doing the deep blacks last because that's what it needs.
Right.
So and I can darken it gradually as it goes along. So I'm going to go back to, when I've got this dark on the brush, I can put in a bit of extra shadow here. A bit extra under there, that needs a bit. Blend some of this in, soften it down. A few extra bits up here. Oh, what happened to my green brush? I think this is the same one. Right. I've got these greens
Where do you have greens?
from doing the skull.
Oh, right, sorry.
I'm going to use some of these up here. And I am exaggerating these colours to make it look more spooky as well.
It doesn't look spooky.
It doesn't look spooky.
Not really, not yet.
Okay, you don't think a green skull with a red light behind it is spooky in any way?
Um,
I think you and I have different definitions of what spooky is.
Perhaps because the black hasn't gone in yet.
Okay. Yes.
I don't know. Something not spooky.
Well, that's good to know that isn't working.
No, it doesn't mean anything.
It's okay.
It's just, I see the pumpkin as more orange. Oh, I see. You see, it looks very different on the screen.
It does, doesn't it?
The screen looks like a Chinese lantern.
Well, this is another interesting thing about doing live streams is that you can't. That some things aren't going to work as well as others.
Look, if you look at the screen, it looks like pink and yellow instead of orange. I think, we're getting the wrong colour there. Like with the long.
Yeah, I mean, no, well,
Yeah.
a camera just can't do
Yeah.
the same job. And there's, I suppose, something like this will highlight its shortcomings more than anything else. There are certain opportunities, though, for a bit more orangeness here. So I can put in a bit more there.
Okay.
And here. There's some. And so, you know, I'm turning up the colour a little bit as I go along. But not too much. I think it's doing its job. So what else? Oh yeah, so I've got this orange, I've got this green. If I put this green into here slightly, I've got these other sort of colours that are in the candle, especially, very hard to judge really. Sort of orangey, sort of greeny. It's dark around the edges, and there's bits where it's lighter, so it's lighter in the middle. So you think around how someone's blue around the edge, but I'm not going to overthink it. The shapes of the ellipses are going to change as well as you go, as you come forward. So this ellipse here is going to be deeper. Oh, so I can screw that up completely. Well, it should be deeper than this one. Right, let's get a brush especially for the deepest black and start to put that in. Now I can mix a flat black with, here I'm using raw umber and ultramarine, and stick a bit of red into it. And that will make the sort of fairly heavy dark black that will sit underneath everything. So give me a harder edge there where I need it. It will also allow me to reshape this ellipse a bit. Get rid of some of those residual lights. But it's not the blackest black I can mix. Now if I go into here, there's bits of it. Let's pop a few bits in there as well. If there's anyone watching and they feel like they don't really know how to develop a personality, you can always just get a really loud car instead. Apparently it's the same thing.
So we're compensating.
Yeah, everyone will know you exist without you having to do anything interesting or worthwhile. Perfect solution. Oh, there we are. Okay, so there's a dense dark around the middle here. It does sort of come into this bit. Just soften the edge. There we go. Oh, I quite like that. That needs to be sharp. Does this. I'm not going to be super fussy about it. There we go. Now, I've got to give myself a bit of leeway with how I put these bright lights in afterwards as well. Some deep darks there. This sort of shadow. What's that? There's a lump. Get off. Chase that around all night and ruin the entire painting if I let myself. Okay.
I have lots of comments tonight.
That's alright.
I think people will be sleepy.
What do you mean sleepy? We started early.
Oh, we didn't start early. We started on time.
What's the difference?
People are asleep. See, they're not commenting. No one is commenting. Or just asking a question. Does it have to be a comment?
Well, if you've got any thoughts or questions, do feel free to sort of write them in. And Michaela will mispronounce your name for you, and then we'll do our best to answer them. Okay. Yeah. Darks up here as well. These sort of edges. Don't want to be too fussy about it. Right here. What's going on here? See. Oh, right.
I have a question on a postcard. What postcard, Steve?
He's referring to Blue Peter, I believe.
Two?
Oh, it used to be answers on a postcard, didn't it?
Okay, see, these things go completely over my head, so you please don't refer to something that went on in the 80s just in England. Thank you.
This is interesting. I'm sort of losing sight of that's in the right place. Ah, no, that should be a lot further over. Oh, no, what am I thinking? Miles off. Okay, concentrate. Do my ellipses properly. You know what, or don't do them properly, just make a big mess and then try and fix it afterwards. That's another way around it. Okay, where am I? Oh yeah, there's a sort of a more yellowy colour in the middle, so I can refine.
Is it the light or is it that pumpkin is still quite yellow?
The pumpkin, well...
The pumpkin is orange, but it's got a red light pointed on it,
yeah.
Right? And candle on one side, which makes it this mixture of yellow and red and orange.
Yeah, there's absolutely
and green,
no way
according to James.
the cameras can catch up with this, and Yeah, it looks much too grey. Most of this is to do with just there being way too much light going on in this picture. Right, now...
If that pumpkin looks funny on the screen, it looks different when you actually see it in real life. So later on, when we show the paintings with a different light, you will see that the pumpkin looks slightly better than it looks now on the screen. That's what I'm trying to explain.
Okay, so now I'm getting my ellipses down a bit better. So I've got a sense of things coming into the foreground now, I think. The other things I can do with this is...
The drawback of digital colour.
Yes.
Yeah.
If I can at least highlight the inferiority of doing things on screens and online, then I've done something useful, haven't I? Can't replace real life. You know, you can't look at a photo in a book and have the same experience as if you saw, especially if it's something like a painting. There's something different about actually seeing a painting. Just like there's something different about actually seeing a sunset or anything else. That's probably a much better example.
But the point is, like, it's not about what we see over there, it's about what James is seeing, because he's the one painting it.
Yeah.
So it's about what he sees. So we'll just have to watch him doing what he sees.
Take my word for it, yeah.
Yeah. Just take his word for it.
Because
that's what he sees.
This is what's jumping out to me. And actually to someone else, something else would pop up. Seem more important.
But I still stand to my comment that it's not spooky yet.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. It's more mellow.
Maybe if we had some appropriate music.
I don't know.
Can you whistle Mussorgsky's Night on Bear Mountain?
Really not.
Oh.
First of all, I can't really whistle very well. Like, I can't do that very well. I can whistle with my fingers, but not...
It needs a bit more drama than that.
Not whistling in a singing way. I can whistle and do like that kind of, loud whistle with my fingers, I guess. I haven't tried for a long time. Probably since about I was 15. So.
Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start adding red to this black mix.
Steve says he trusts you because he's seen the Tokaji painting in person. Does it mean the wine?
Tokai, yes.
Tokai, sorry.
Oh, no.
The Tokai painting in person. Well.
Okay, now this is weird because I'm
soon everyone is going to be able to see all these paintings in person.
Oh yes.
Isn't it? Aren't they, James?
We'll be announcing.
You tell them.
Next week. So the Bean Shot Cafe downstairs.
Bean Shot Cafe.
Are going to give me a wall on which to show. So if anyone in the Sherborne area or in the vicinity wants to come and have a look at what I painted the night before in person, it'll be on the wall in there. You can come and witness it in person. I'm going to make a frame with a special glass on it, so it can dry there without it being a problem, it being wet. Well, I'm sure people wouldn't sort of touch it too much anyway, but there you go. Now this is interesting because there's these reds around here, but they sort of go slightly purpley, and then there's this one little bit of pinky red. No, it's deeper than that. I think I've just got to have a bit of fun with this red, really just sort of turn it up a little bit. I'm still doing it as a mix in the black, but black is getting more red put into it. And there's this tissue paper in the background. It's looking lighter and lighter, but it's still nowhere close to the actual pinky red colour. There's a bit, when it was darker I should have got on with putting a bit coming out of here, but it is going to mix on the surface. We'll put a bit of that there, see how well that works. Where else? A bit more out of here. Bit in there. Where else? There's a bit coming out of here as well. Very hard to see. And there's quite a bit up there too. I'm going to borrow a bit of this purpley version. Pop a bit of that on. There you are. Go back to my black over here. Using a transparent one. Let that mix in on the surface. Bring that round. Give me a hard edge up here. So where it's getting denser here, I can really start to define some edges. Now, how reflective is that looking? So, okay, it's not too bad. Actually, you probably get a better idea of things from your screen there, because there's a polarizing filter. On here, the paint's become so shiny, it's actually quite hard for me to see what's going on. Let's get a little brush on the go. I'll just put in a few of these reddish highlights. So I've got some here, and along here. Which are also along there, and there, and around here. And then there's parts where they get really bright, like there. Ah, it's too thick. There we go. And here. And along there. Okay, now while I've got that brighter red on, I can put a bit more on here as well. There. Really plaster that on there. Really make more of that, how light that is. A little bit of that can go on. Mix in here as well. So yeah, so you've got this sort of crease. Creases. There's them all redness. Yeah. Hey.
Hey, the camera. Want me to come? Do it? Oh.
No, here. So that's pretty close here. If I go back to my orange now, there's a few things I can do. So I can start to put in some orangeness around some of these candle shapes.
Yeah, we don't see any of that on the screen. It just looks like white disc of light. But I know that from where you are, you see quite a lot. Yeah.
That's quite interesting. And what else? Right. Put that away. Another one of these. Oh, that's And now we can start to look for some of these light bits. Oh, before I do that, hang on, not quite there. There's this sort of haze which I'm going to make a sort of an orange version that, and this should mix in with the black that's behind. It should give a sort of sense of,
What are you doing?
well, there's this sort of glow around the flames,
Right, okay.
and I think that kind of has to go on first. And it will mix with, there's definitely some there. It's in there as well. It's also hitting the surface. There you go. Let's get some of that back in there. There we go. Okay, running out of brushes now. Let's try some of that. There's going to be some around here. That'd be too much. Oh yeah, okay, that's mixing in, so that's alright. Okay, relaxing about this a little bit now. Right, if we actually get a proper lump of it, we can put a candle flame.
Oh yeah. Right. Alright, that explains it.
Let's go back to this. Yeah, something like that. Go back to my orange with a bit of light on there. Pop a bit of that in there. Let's do a bit of reflection. Last, oh yeah, so the wicks are going to be very black. Okay.
Right, good, because we don't see any of that on the screen.
What else have I got? Okay, so I've got a. No, that's going too far. I need to go back a bit. I've got that. Line down the middle. I'm not sure how well that works, but there you go.
Is it challenging?
It is. It is. It's a
looks
tricky
like.
one. Little bits of highlight across here, not too much. Yeah, so the main challenging thing, here we go, is keeping the tones balanced. But I think it's happening now. We're getting a sense of that bit of a glow there. A few of the highlights on the front of the teeth. There you go. Some of these sort of highlights on the front of the bones of the sheep's skull.
My favourite part from the screen, and I'm going to come and have a look, is the light on the paper
Too much.
underneath a small candle. The way it looks here on the screen.
Mm.
I found that. Yeah. I really like that. Like that one there.
Yes, so that's got a little bit of highlight to go on, which is sort of right underneath the candle flame, and that sort of fades out like that. Got a similar kind of thing with the red over here, which is a bit more purpley. A little bit coming off over here, which is giving me an edge. And then I've got this is interesting, I can put a bit of white in here.
I still don't get much the part on the right with that red paper there. It's just looks a bit confusing, but I guess it's matter.
Yeah, it is sort of related to what's happening.
Oh, no, I'm sure.
That's not. That's too
Also,
much.
never mind. I like the light on the sheep's skull's left horn as we're looking at it. Yeah, that's right, me too. I like that.
Yeah, so there is a sort of a sense of what's going on with the
I also
paper.
like the back candle, the tall one. Well, every individual thing looks really good, James.
Oh,
No,
really?
joking. It looks
Uh-huh.
very good. Actually, it's coming together really
Looks
well, I
like this.
think.
Blueness here.
But it's not red enough. I mean, it doesn't look red enough. So, it's so red. How can you not? Oh, look, it's nowhere near as red as all this.
Yeah, that's the limitations of a camera.
Okay.
Well,
it is. It's, yeah, still redder than what you paint. Much redder.
oh, it is, but
And
yeah.
look at the part there of the pumpkin, the one right where the red light shines right on it. The red bright light. Okay.
Now this is the thing I can turn up at the end. I think now I've got my darks
All right.
behaving themselves, which they will do
Well,
now.
actually, from here overall, it's got.
So this is the big one right at the end. So I can keep mixing more red into here.
Red is always terrible in digital visual. Yes, I know. Even when I take photographs, I can never photograph even like berries, and they don't look red. They look pink. That's right. Yeah, just like your painting. Really hard.
Oh, okay.
Some
so
red.
A few other bits. And a bright pink bit in the middle. Like that.
Hmm. Look, I'm falling over.
Okay, where else? What else? Now what, let me go over that edge and then I'll come back in with it afterwards. Yeah. Like that. There you are. Well, there's something there.
Oh,
It's
definitely.
a bit odd. Yeah, well, I can see it. There's lots of bits of black that haven't really gone in. I think there's definitely a sort of a sense of candle flames going on. sheep skull could have been better, but then again,
Well,
yeah.
it looks like a very difficult thing to paint.
Ah, I think it was, yeah.
Yes,
But
very
I think
difficult.
it was kind of interesting
Like
for that.
the front of it with all those spiky bits. I mean, how that's quite tricky. It must be. I wouldn't know how to negotiate that. Oh no.
Yeah, I reckon that might be me.
Ah, sorry.
Okay. I think the yawning is becoming part of the live stream tradition.
Oh no! Look, no one can see me now. I was just leaning forward there.
Yeah. I think a bit more of a flame on that, and on here, and on here. That one's okay. Am I fiddling now? I think I'm fiddling now, aren't I?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. Slide that in a little bit. Yes. Okay. That's probably a good time to stop. Well, I think that's.
What about the
spooky.
left part, the right part here, where the is that you
What?
here? Is that where you?
What around here?
Yeah, is it like that?
I think it is kind
Okay.
of like that. Hang on.
It looks like it's a. I don't know. Okay, well, obviously.
No, you might
the
be
camera
right.
is very tricky. Because from the screen, it looks almost like it's part of the body of the sheep instead of a light on the. Do you know what I mean? Like so.
I'll tell you what there is there is this bit of light coming through from behind.
No, it's not that. I think it's that.
Anyway, can't do much more with it than that, I don't think.
Yeah. I like the candles though. Much more interesting. So you see all the flames and there's nothing there, but wow, be interesting to see what it looks like when you turn it around
Yeah.
and you put the camera in front.
Let's
Because
give that a go now, shall we?
hello to you both, Steve. Oh, hi, Steve. Steve Henderson.
There he is.
Painting looks great. Interesting subject. Thanks,
It was,
Steve.
you know what? I mean,
It's a very challenging subject.
I'm not sure this is the most successful painting I've done.
Well-
by a long shot. But for the sake of doing it, for the act of doing it, and for the challenges that it involved, and for what I discovered and what I played with, I
Isn't that just the point?
I went further away from what I would normally do as a straightforward description here. So I investigated some of these colour relationships. Can we put the palette on?
Yes, but also once this lives on its own and you don't see that anymore, the composition is going to go, and this will just live on its own. It's a different thing, isn't it? It will have almost like now it's just like you copied something almost. Like, I know you haven't, but you do the comparison while you got that. But
So
once that is
these
gone,
greens and where they fit into this yellow and orange colour scheme,
yeah,
I could never quite make everything yellow and orange enough to make it look like light because it's paint.
yeah.
Unless you kind of extend further the other way into the blues and the greens, and so that's what was going on here. And that's quite fun. It makes it more interesting as a painting. Less naturalistic in the sense that...
Actually, I have to tell you that apart from the screen where we still see that, if you disregard that now, almost as if it was just a sort of an inspiration, that one,
Yeah.
and not what you were really trying to you know.
Should we put the normal screen on again? Is that okay?
Yeah. Let's have a look. So, Oh God, it looks even more pink. Wait a minute. Oh, okay. I'm still not sure about the right part, but this one doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Do you want to go close by? Do like some
So
close
I
up
can
like you
do-
did last
Yeah,
time?
so I can do some close-ups.
Yeah, so we see.
There's my pumpkin.
Yes, Steve is
Okay.
enjoying your interpretation of the colours.
Yeah, so that's a lot of sort of greens and blues and things to make it seem like it's in the dark, which then allows. Let me see if I can get rid of that.
For the red highlights.
Yeah, there is some of that shine. That might be a bit better. A bit more shine, less shine.
It's fine, as fine as it was
better.
before. Okay.
Yeah.
Go on the candles, because the candles are very
Candles.
interesting, I think.
Some wonky ellipses there, but I don't care anymore. It's fine.
But that doesn't no one cares if they're wonky
It
ellipses.
bothers artists.
Not
Yeah.
all artists, I think.
Well, no, it's the first thing they'll point out to you. They go, oh, the ellipse has gone out there.
No,
And then, yes.
it doesn't bother me. But it doesn't really matter because nothing is extremely precise.
that's
Not even the
fine.
shape of the pumpkin.
Yeah,
If we really want to, But that's not the point.
My light's collapsing again, that's what's happening here.
What's collapsing?
My light. Come on, oh no, don't do that. Okay, does that work better? Yes. Just get rid of the
Great
shine.
work. Very interesting to see this emerge, Lydia.
Oh, hi Lydia. Yeah, that was a bit of fun. Yeah, a hell of a setup as well. Yeah, to sort of I can show you what I did with I had a lot of mucking about with lights and candles and all the rest of it. But yeah, where are we? Oh, it's going all blocky when I move. We'll zoom in.
No, yeah, that was before. Now this is now.
No, that's what it looks like to people. Well, I'm very sorry about that, everybody.
Well, you were just trying to focus on the image.
No, it's a load of crap. That's another thing to fix.
Okay, but now it's like that, so that's fine.
No, that's Streamlabs.
No, this is what is now, and that was before when you were going on it. You see,
No.
you're not on it.
No, this is Streamlabs. This is on my computer. This is what people are seeing at the other end.
So like what you did 5
On the
minutes ago.
internet.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Have you got it on YouTube as well, so we can
I don't
see
know.
what that
No,
looks
I
like?
couldn't bring it up on YouTube. I didn't
Oh,
want to
okay.
disturb. Look at Facebook.
Okay. Yeah, look, it's gone all. Oh, this has all gone to crap.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it has.
Well, this is why it's finished. Because I always thought that is what they see here,
No.
not.
No. That's what I'm sending out, but that's not what they're getting. Oh, look at it, it's all over the place.
This is only on Facebook because on
Oh,
here
well.
it was not like that. This is only when you went close by. Like
Well,
that. It
sorry-
wasn't like that all the time.
Sorry about the. Maybe it's because it's moving around.
Fight. Well, Steve, it's too late for me to fight.
Yes.
I give up
And
anyway.
also, I wouldn't stand a chance. So.
No.
Yeah, well, I'll do some experiments and see if I can sort out getting a clearer picture.
Yeah, but like Steve Day, you've been watching it for the whole thing, for the whole stream for 2 hours now. Was the image blurry and pixelated?
Blocky, yeah.
See, no, it's fine camera. It's fine camera feed. That's the other Steve. Yeah, but you,
Okay.
Steve, you just joined in. But before, I think it was fine.
Oh well, fingers
This
crossed.
is only when you move the camera that was like that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it was fine. Okay. I think it was fine, really.
Oh, yes, quite a bit.
Oh.
There you go.
Well, you could have told us.
No, there's nothing you can do once it's started. I'll have to do some experiments in the week, so
Okay, good.
yeah.
Wow.
We'll get that figured out. It used to be better with exactly the same equipment, so
But do you think?
it's mysterious, isn't it?
Are you sure it's not these what they see? Because that was okay. Fine.
Yes,
It's not.
I'm sure.
Okay.
Mm.
Yes, he still thought it was his digital screen.
All right.
Mostly fine. He said mostly fine.
There
Is
you
it?
go.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming, everyone. I think once
Okay.
it's static, it's
We'll
not so
take
bad.
mostly fine any day.
And I'll see if I can fix that for future efforts. But yeah, thanks for coming, everyone. And,
Thank you.
And we'll see you next week for.
Probably some poppies. I'm thinking.
No,
No.
it's going to be some coffee making, a special coffee making.
Oh no, it's not
for
poppies
Lydia.
yet because next week is Guy Fawkes on Sunday.
Oh right,
So what do you want to do?
terrorism.
No, God, no, there will not be any of that.
Well, it's Guy
Just
Fawkes,
to be-
isn't it?
Yeah, no, but it's not.
Oh,
It's going to be very peaceful. Whatever we do.
Okay, I might do the coffee paraphernalia then. If yeah.
What is it that you want to do? Coffee?
If I can't incite civil unrest, I'm going to do coffee paraphernalia because the bean shop will be hosting my Sunday.
Oh, I see. Yes. So in honor of Bean Shot, we'll do coffee next week.
So that's the fun one.
Completely disregarding Guy Fawkes. That, to be honest,
Yeah.
we don't know what cares much about.
No, fine.
Okay.
So it's the end stream button on the bottom.
Okay. Bye bye, everyone.